What is going on, and welcome back to another episode of I Coach Nutrition Radio. Today's episode, we're going to be diving into yet another question from one of my clients. This one was over organic food and whether it was worth it to spend the extra money on buying organic or grass-fed or wild caught versus conventional. Essentially, like if you're on a budget, what are the best things to buy, organic or grass-fed or wild caught versus just going with the conventional foods there in those different groups. And so, he wanted to know specifically about steak and ground beef, chicken breast, ground turkey, ground bison, tuna, steak, salmon, turkey, berries, apples, cucumbers, lettuce, salad greens, fresh spinach, fresh broccoli, frozen peas, frozen green beans, and so on and so forth there. So I'm going to kick this thing off with essentially going over and kind of, giving you a story here. So I've been in the field now for a long time, right? I first started getting into kind of the nutrition and fitness field when I was 18 years old. I turned 31 here next month in August. And so I've been doing this for a long time. I've gone to school and got my nutrition degree. I've got numerous certifications. I've worked with thousands of clients one-on-one. I'm very well versed in the industry and in all of the leading experts in the industry. And there are so many different varying opinions here. I've even gone as far as I had somebody that came onto the podcast who has her PhD in meat science come on here and supposedly debunk a lot of the things that I thought to be true. Like, for example, I used to think that grass-fed, grass-finished was more superior than just conventional, or that wild caught was more superior than conventional. And to be honest with you, I don't really know who I believe, to be honest with you, right? Like, I don't really know who I believe anymore because there's so many different various opinions out there. And for every research article that comes out that supports that one is better than the other, there's another one that comes out that supports that the exact opposite there. And so really where it comes down to me and how I coach clients, as well as the decisions that I make for myself, is it really comes down to sustainability. It's really no different than any of these other diets that are out there, right? If you want to do keto, you want to do intermittent fasting, you want to do paleo, whatever, can you do it for the rest of your life? If the answer is no, then what's the point in doing it in the first place? Unless you just want to do it as a science experiment, if you will, right? And so it's kind of the same thing here, right? If you can afford, right, to be able to buy organic and buy grass-fed and buy wild caught and buy free range and all of these different things with the food that you buy, and you're going to do that consistently on a regular basis for the rest of your life, and you're not going to eat out at restaurants that don't provide this quality of food, then be my guest, go for it. For me personally, that's not something that I'm going to do. And so therefore, I actually ended up kind of making the switch a few years ago to not being so crazy about it, not being so anal about it, essentially, right? Not feeling like not feeling guilty for buying things that weren't organic, or feeling guilty about things that weren't grass-fed or wild caught or what have you there. And so that'd be the first question I'd kind of go over with you, is like, what's the sustainability of this protocol, right? Is this something that you plan on doing yourself or with your family for the rest of y'all's life, right? And if the answer is no, then you've got to really ask yourself, okay, well, what actually does matter then, right? And so this is where I come from, which is like really trying to get people to prioritize eating majority of their diet being whole foods, right? Getting away from, eating a diet where you're just sitting here eating restaurant food, fast food all the time, and getting you to actually cook the majority of your own food. I mean, that is such a huge opportunity for improving both the quality and the quantity of your nutrition. It's just simply getting people back in the kitchen, getting people cooking the majority of their own food. I mean, that is something that the majority of America, right? And again, we're approaching a 50% obesity rate. The majority of America does not cook their own food, right? And if they are cooking from home, it's out of the box. They're cooking microwave meals or frozen meals or whatever. They're not actually using simple ingredients, mainly eating meats and seafoods and vegetables and fruits, and whole grain type products there, and healthy fats, right? Like that's not the majority of their diet. And so if that's you and you're not prioritizing eating whole foods, then that's got to be the first step before you start diving into, kind of the whole argument here over organic versus non-organic and grass-fed versus, conventional versus wild caught versus farm raised, et cetera. Right. And so you gotta kind of meet yourself where you are and figure out, what is that next step for you, right? Because a lot of people go from not thinking about any of this stuff or caring about any of this stuff to, oh, I need to eat only organic, right? And not only does that cause stress from a financial standpoint, right? Potentially, not for everybody, but if that becomes a financial stressor for you, it also becomes a stressor in terms of just making you feel guilty about eating it yourself or feeding it to your kids or your family. And so I think in perspective, you really just got to think about what is the long-term play here, right? And so for me, I think one of the biggest things that I do notice, right, and I get this from clients all the time, is the taste aspect of it. I personally do truly like, for me, right next to me, I have Sprouts that's within 10 minutes from me, and then I got a Kroger and a Walmart that are within like 5 minutes of me. And so I do grocery shop at all three of those, right? But the one that I do, enjoy the most out of the three would be Sprouts. And it's mainly because of the taste of the food, especially on the produce side of things. The vegetables and fruits definitely taste a lot better, a lot fresher. And this is on the fresh side of it, not the frozen, right? But they definitely taste a lot better. They definitely spoil. They take a lot longer to spoil. They're just much better quality than what I typically get from a Walmart or a Kroger. Again, nothing against a Walmart or a Kroger there. They have great options as well, but this is just typically what I find. And I find it to be true with the meat and the seafood options there as well. I also find it easier to be able to eat, just good quality food and make good quality options when I go to more of a natural grocer versus more of a conventional grocer. But these grocery stores are getting better and better and better. Costco is a perfect example of this. Costco is providing much better options than they were before. I mean, even if you compare Costco to Sam's Club, Costco has way better options than Sam's Club does. And so, when you're comparing pricing here, if you're looking at the prices and the price of organic versus non-organic is the same, well, then sure, obviously do the organic choice there. Or if the grass-fed is the same price as the conventional, awesome, go with that. Or if the wild caught is, the same price as the conventional, go with that, right? But the reality of it is that there is not this huge, crazy difference in organic versus non-organic. It's not like it's going to make you so much more healthy, or make it so much easier for you to lose body fat, or make you feel so much better, or look so much better, perform so much better. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to review over just some kind of general summary and recommendations that was pulled together here in terms of a few different resources. And I think that this is a pretty good outline, a pretty good summary of recommendations for us to be able to kind of reflect on and have conversation about, ask questions about here, create a debate, if you will, if you would like to go into that. But I think it just kind of does a really good job at really creating just a general summary and some general recommendations that we can look into. So organic fruits and vegetables contain fewer chemicals than conventional varieties, and most chemicals exert effects on a dose related basis. In other words, the more chemicals, the stronger the effects. Okay. Point number 2 here, some animals raised organically have the potential for bacterial contamination since they are not treated with antibiotics. Okay. Point 3, in some cases, organic foods may have higher levels of nutrients. Point 4, there may be increased microbiological hazards from organic foods. Point 5, consider what you're getting, the price you're paying, the taste, and your priorities. Number 6, or whatever point I'm at here, consider where you are shopping. Small farms might not be certified organic, yet they may still not use pesticides. And then if you're looking for healthy food, the organic, right, the title organic, is this being like a shortcut, typically doesn't work, right? So you need to look for new definitions of healthy food, such as organically grown or raised, as close to its natural state as possible. In other words, a whole chicken equals good versus like frozen chicken nuggets equals not so good, right? A diet low in processed ingredients, full of plant-based foods, legumes, and lean meats, right? And then locally raised and locally sold food that's also grown / raised organically. By definition, this food is also provided seasonally. So these are just some things to think about, some summaries and recommendations here. I'm not going to go super deep into this. There is a podcast that I did with a meat scientist that has her PhD in meat science that I did. I forget the number of the episode, but it was a while back. She shares some interesting insight. I don't want to disrespect her knowledge and her schooling and her research and everything that she's done, but I could pull up her, I could pull up a lot of different experts, and there's a lot of different varying opinions. So I think at the end of the day, the recommendation here has just got to be you've got to do what's best for you and your family. I think the point that they said in the summary and recommendations here that I had listed, right? Consider what you are getting, the price you are paying, the taste, and your priorities, right? These are all things to really take into consideration and really ask yourself, what is going to be the best plan for my family and I from a sustainability standpoint, right? And am I making sure that I'm prioritizing the big rocks that really define what living a sustainable, healthy lifestyle looks like before I get caught up in the weeds, right? So am I prioritizing my sleep? And am I prioritizing my nutrition, my exercise, my hydration, my stress management, right? Are all of these big rock habits dialed in consistently? If they are, great. Now you can start to look into more of like the pebbles in the sand in that example of the mason jar, which organic versus non-organic and grass-fed versus conventional and wild caught versus farm raised. These would all be kind of examples of that in terms of diving into the weeds and really potentially taking things to the next level. But for 99% of America out here who's facing a 50% obesity rate, you need to focus on simplifying nutrition, right? And that's really what my goal is, to simplify this stuff, right? Not to make it more complicated for you, but to simplify it, right? What is the stuff that actually matters the most, right? Because the reality of it is we can make nutrition as complicated as we want, or we can make it as simple as we want. And if you're not being consistent with these simple baseline habits, then it doesn't really matter, right? Because these are the things that move the needle the most, and you need to learn how to actually get consistent with the simple things before you try to start making things complex for you. All right, cool. All right, guys, that's all I got. Let me know if you have any questions. As always, I appreciate you taking the time here to listen to this episode, watch this video. And as always, if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to drop them here below. Let me know. Reach out to me on social media there. I'm more than happy to help, more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. And yeah, until next time, thanks, guys.